Welcome back to Lessons from the Front and to beautiful Katong. So I've brought my Hungarians to take on Rahim's Americans here at Experiments. Not feeling that confident because the army doesn't quite have the bite that I'd like it to have. It does have a flamethrower and an engineer squad. Let's see how that does. Alright, as I mentioned earlier down on Juchiat Street, I'm bringing a 750 point Hungarian army to face off against Rahim's Americans. I'll be spending a little extra time today going through the list since, as you'll see later in the battle report, the game ended rather quickly. This gives me some extra time to go over my Honvids, and I know fellow Hungarian players would appreciate a closer look at my list. So let's dive right into it. My Hungarian force is made up of 3 small platoons, totaling 9 order dice. The first platoon is led by this charming, though slightly older officer from Budapest and his second in command. This platoon is regular and costs 40 points. They lead 3 squads, 2 regular 10-man squads, each costing 129 points and equipped with an LMG and Panzerfaust, plus a veteran sniper team at 67 points. The second platoon is a heavy weapons team, again commanded by a regular 2-man squad at 40 points. This platoon oversees 2 teams, a regular medium mortar team for 55 points and a veteran medium machine gun team for 65 points. I usually prefer to spend a bit more on MMG teams if they're going to be in the thick of things, just to give them a better chance of sticking around longer with that veteran status. Finally, to round out my 750 point force, I have a third platoon of engineers. It's led by a regular 2-man commander. This platoon includes a single 8-man squad of engineers, armed with an LMG, Panzerfaust, and of course that flamethrower I mentioned earlier that would definitely make an appearance in the game. As you can see, I didn't include any vehicles in my list, which had me a little nervous once I saw Rahim's Americans and the table setup. But that's my 750 points. Let's see how it plays out. Looking at the terrain, you can see that it was fairly symmetrical. We both had hard cover in the form of entrenched sandbag walls, and both our base camps were protected by hard cover sandbag walls. Our base camps are marked here by the national flags, as you can see in the photograph. The hills provided soft cover, and that Junkers transport plane there, although not blocking lines of sight, did offer additional soft cover.
So the victory condition will be Demolition.
So as you can see from the dice rolls, Rahim and I would be playing from the long edges of the table, with the mission being to destroy our opponent's base camp before they could destroy ours. But to make things even more interesting, we were also playing the fog of war rule, which meant we could bring in our reserves from any table edge. As I mentioned earlier, this would end up making the game really short, but stick around to find out whether it would be my Hungarians or Rahim's Yanks who'd managed to take down the enemy base first. The battle kicked off with Rahim trying to take out my sniper, who was positioned on a hill overlooking his base camp. Rahim trained both his howitzer and the Sherman's main gun and vehicle machine guns on my sniper. While he managed to land many pins, my sniper's veteran status and the cover he had kept him alive. The howitzer had to fire direct shots due to being too close to my sniper, which thankfully did not finish him off. To Rahim's dismay, my sniper not only rallied and removed all the pins he had accumulated, but also took out 2 of the howitzer's crewmen and killed Rahim's lone artillery officer with accurate rifle fire. My mortar team followed up the sniper's success by ranging in and finishing off Rahim's light howitzer. Rahim then attempted to make up for the loss by bringing on his other Sherman from the short table edge, which successfully destroyed my heavy weapons platoon commander. In turn 2 and 3, it became a race to see who could bring on the most teams onto the opponent's side to plant explosives and destroy the base camp. Rahim managed to bring on 3 squads to my base. Each of them were wiped out. First by my veteran MMG team in close combat, and then by my engineer squad, who arrived in a turn later and toasted the remaining Americans with the flamethrower. On the other side of the table, 4 of my Hungarian squads successfully arrived and dealt with the American defenders of Rahim's base. With all 4 squads planting demolition charges, the American base was destroyed. And the game ended in a decisive victory for the Hungarians. Hurrah! Now, let's hear from Rahim to get his thoughts on the scenario and the kind of list that might be best for this demolition mission. Right, so Rahim, our game's over. How did it go?
The game did not went in my favor.
Yeah.
And it is unexpected that the scenario for this table is fog of war.
Fog of war, right.
Coupled with the deployment zone.
Yeah.
And the number of points that we're playing.
Yeah.
And what was the other one? And the deployment zone, the deployment type.
Yeah.
And the fog of war, the winning condition.
Yeah.
So added up, I'm playing with an armored company.
Yeah.
2
Shermans, right?
Yeah, with 2 Shermans. Because when we make the list, we do not know what
Scenario
is the
mission.
scenario or mission that we're playing.
Right.
And Eugene was toying with fire, in his own words, which did not bring any armor.
That's true.
And we did not have any clue what the table would be like.
Yeah.
So he was expecting buildings like those.
Yeah.
Can you point and show?
Okay.
Buildings?
I was expecting terrain like this, yes.
But I, on the other hand, was cleaning up this whole place.
Yes.
And decided, let's go with a desert table.
Right.
So, not knowing anything, even I
Quite
was caught by
open.
surprise.
Yeah.
So, the game.
Yeah.
He was supposed to destroy my base, and I'm supposed to destroy his base.
Yeah.
And I have 2 Shermans.
Yeah.
Sherman A and Sherman B, the commander there.
Yeah.
Came in, whack, but did not do much damage.
Yeah.
He was full of infantry, his company.
Yeah.
And he can come in and stroll and storm my base.
Yes.
While my base would be left undefended because I spent points on the 2 Shermans.
Right.
So in this game, the 2 Shermans is considered unreliable. But if you are bringing in an armor company, and you happen to have this scenario and this winning condition, you can hope for a draw.
Right.
So how? Just come in with the Shermans, wreck the base, destroy his men, as many men as possible, move at his base. Do not care, forgo your base. You're going for a draw game now.
Wow.
You don't have enough infantry to save the base and destroy his base. So just forgo, because he eventually will storm your base with his because he has numerical advantage. And so you can only hope for a draw game. So on hindsight, I should have gone all out and attack his base with all the outflanking. No, there's no outflanking in this game. There's no outflanking. But you can come in from any side.
Yes. So do you feel like you should have just gone full out against my base and hope for a draw?
I shouldn't have deployed one man down the, what do you call it? 1 Sherman.
Yeah. Because you split your Shermans. You had one at the base.
I should have just go all out and try to destroy your base.
Right.
I know that eventually you're going to destroy my base, and it could have been a draw game.
Yeah.
Now I know. Lessons from the front.
Lessons from the front. I hope you had fun, Rahim.
This is front. This is front stage, front view, humiliation and defeat. Thank you, Eugene, for the game.
You're welcome. Thank you for the game, Rahim.
Yeah, I'm just going to bury my men now.
Okay.
And bury my head in the sand.
Okay. And thank you to all of you for watching another After Action report from Lessons from the Front. If you're ever in Singapore, be sure to visit Expedimix on Joo Chiat Road, my favorite store on the island. A big shout out to Rahim and everyone at Expedimix for hosting such an exciting game of bolt action. Until next time, happy gaming!